So do you have tools available for enterprise servers, switches, routers?
Yeah, currently we have the current versions do support servers, virtual machines, as well as other things and new places. Other products are coming on the way.
So Srini, I would like to throw the spanner into the works here, right? I will relate to you an incident where I was part of an event and I was actually talking about green data center with a few of my clients, and I said, and one of them said, you're one of the guys, one of the organizations that goes ahead and does the highest amount of IT outsourcing, the largest IT outsources across the globe. Yes, why are you asking me to build a data center? Take away my data center. I don't want it. I'm outsourcing my kitchen to you, right? And the fact is, we realize the same. I think it's not about lack of availability of technology. It's about lack, or it's about us having the attitude to adopt a particular technology, right? So you don't need to stop at consolidation virtualization. Give it away. Go to cloud, right? You don't necessarily need to leave it at screensaver, right? When screensavers run, there are so many different applications or organizations, NGOs, who are wanting to use whatever latent power or capability is there on your system. So IBM partners with something called Worldwide Grid, right? Which is essentially kind of taking some portion of power away from your desktops, while the desktops are still, just about working in whatever way they work. And while the screensavers are on, it takes up latent. So there is a whole huge cluster of such machines, and it throws away small portion of work onto each of those desktops. And the compute which it performs and gathers is to kind of do research or gather data point or crunch data point to figure out, malaria diagnosis in Africa, right? It goes ahead and looks at how do you do analytics on figuring out, the hunger patterns, right? And how do you kind of fulfill various, so some of the smart initiatives are actually inspired from there as well. Again, coming back to the smarter theme, again, we've been engaging with a lot of organizations, governments, and that's where we're looking at expanding into the partnership model. While in the major, or the developed economies, the theme is largely around smarter planet, city by city, and the concept of smarter planet is essentially created or thought about or initiated by the governments, by the municipal bodies and so on. We changed that and tweaked that a little bit here. I mean, you're right over there, Samaran, that bottom line is very critical, right? So we tweaked it therefore to say it's no longer just about city by city, because if I have to go talk about city by city, I never know how long will it take me to really go get smart.
You already have 7,400 cities.
Yeah. Right? So, and how do I start? Where do I start? How do I engage? How do I get things going? So we started looking at who all are the, quick key beneficiaries, and that's where the concept about let's start smarter building. Right? Let's start talking about smarter towers, right? And that's how this whole concept really took off, and that's the point I wanted to kind of circle back. It's not about technology is not available. All sorts of technology are available. The question is how much of us are really leveraging it and adopting it, and how soon are we adopting it?
Okay, let me change the question a little bit. Are we talking about technologies being aware, they're being available, but the user not being aware of that these technologies are there and the benefits of that? I think you have a point to make before
I was
that.
coming back to the basic question when you had asked about, whether this is the issue of the enough technologies being available today in, let's say, Indian context or not, or maybe the awareness which is there or not. I would like to add here another dimension, which is to my best of my knowledge, and which I can talk about, is that it's not about the technology today. Okay? the technology which would be available today in West versus not available in India, it's not a question of that. It's not even a question of awareness of that.
We build technology for the West.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But where I think, where we need to, go a long way is basically have that infrastructure in our rural pockets, right? I mean, we are talking about energy saving, we are talking about carbon dioxide emissions, etc., and those, norms. Given a choice, if today possible, I would like to take my data center to the cities. I mean, so many cities that I'm operating my operations today out of, right? I would like to take it to a smaller city where it is not that environment, making any impact on the adverse impact on the environment, right? Taking it out of that, but do I have the enough infrastructure available today? All the infrastructure service provider, the ISPs primarily, can assure me that kind of business continuity from those deep rural locations, right? So I think it's a question of that. We all know where we have to go. We all know what we need to do, but it's all about availability of the resources and the infrastructure that today is not there. It's improving. I
Is
have
it
no
also a
complaints.
chicken and egg situation? Are you driving demand? Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to make that point. I'm from WWF, and unfortunately, we all of us, including the NGO sector, is in this whole loop where I'm speaking only on behalf of the NGO sector, where we say, okay, we can't drive this because government doesn't aid this. Where as from the corporate sector, I understand when you say I can't drive this kind of change, this kind of technological change because infrastructure doesn't support it. So it is pretty much a chicken and egg situation where we're just waiting for the other set or subset to sort of counter.
Reliance probably networks 4.5 lakh points across the country, including rural areas, even before they launched some of their services. They are ready to plug and play the minute the demand comes. Which will come first, the supply or the demand?
You see the ARPU coming for the telecom companies, the ISPs, etc.
Yeah.
From these rural areas is not enough for them to start
Absolutely,
investing in
absolutely.
that. And whereas we all understand, and like you just said, that the cloud is the way to at
Yeah.
least up to 15 to 20% consumption can go easily when everybody starts moving on the cloud. And the enterprise mobility user who needs services on the go, and he's going to be dependent on the cloud largely going forward. He says, where do I go in the rural areas? I don't have anything, I'm just finished then.
Right.
So there is where the buck stops, and that is what has to be mended.
It's not a showstopper though. I mean,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
a lot of progress which is
Yeah,
happening.
yeah.
Let's not
Yeah.
deny that.
Yeah.
Let's not deny that actually. It's
Yeah.
not that it's not
True.
happening. There's a standstill situation. It's not like that.
Actually, I think there's another trigger. While you're talking about the push, there is a pull. We were talking about the pull factor. The push is that the cities are becoming increasingly unviable and more expensive in terms of real estate, in terms of services, in terms of manpower. Everything it is way too expensive, and that pushes the enterprise into the smaller areas. So it is happening. It's not a no-go situation, but somewhere, what comes first? Here I'll take it back to Neha because we've talked about various aspects, but we haven't talked about the consumer. You're creating as much for a individual consumer as for an enterprise consumer. And look at India. Our strength is in the numbers, right? If at one point we said it was the detraction of our problem area. Today we're talking about the numbers being a strength. But how do you make that demand go across the board so that there's a common awareness that this is a agenda that we have to invest in?
So no, go ahead.
So while Mr. Dayal touched upon the infrastructure, I think he touched upon the right thing that if you see apart from the India, other part of the countries, there are law enforcement which are there. So first we have to have like electronic waste. If you see West part, it's forced down to the throats of the enterprise. That was you have to do electronic waste submission on a quarterly basis or a monthly basis. But if you see in India, a lot of enterprise like I come from the hospitality industry, first awareness is not there. Second thing, the enforcement of the law is not there. So if I'm using this particular phone, after 2 months I'm going to replace it, what I will do with this phone, where this old phone will go, so there's no clarity which I have. Can I get a kickback if I recycle this? As a consumer, I think that okay, I bought this 30,000 phone, now I'm buying another 30,000 phone. If I go to the X mall, can he give me a kickback if I recycle? I said I'm putting in the recycle, give me a kickback. So as a consumer, I'm looking to enhance the technology. I'm going to go to the next tool or a next growth path. What are we talking about? Like what will happen to this old recycling of the things? So there is no enforcement which has been done. There is no clarity which is there versus the West which is there.
Yeah. Just want to add another point. Very important thing as we go with the smartphones, tablets. You look at the life cycle of a device. 2 years, 3 years. 70% of the energy is consumed in producing a device. Only 30% energy is actually the using of device. If you throw it away every year, actually by trying to be efficient, moving from a desktop to laptop, actually you are creating more waste. If you just do the math today, and the energy efficiency of this device aren't great today. Just last week we just published on the Facebook, it's about on Apple itself, Apple talks about energy efficiency. iPad charger has a power factor of 0.48. I don't think anybody had measured.
And you force industries to go to 0.97.
Yeah, 0.48. And you have 100 million iPads. Just give an example. 100 million iPads today operating at consuming 12 watt of power at 0.48 power factor. Just imagine whole of Russia could be just powered by this, iPads.
The second big challenge which we are going to face in India is the e-smog. E-smog is the next concern which we are going to face because it's e-smog, electronic smog, which is the next concern which we are going to face. Again, the laws are there in international countries. India, there is no law. If you see the way the 3G and 2G's antenna have been built, every highway, if you come to Mumbai, highways have been pushing those radiation towers on the highways. So that is purely a e-smog. You see the amount of e-smog we are generating. There is no clarity what is going to happen. So somewhere down the line, if we are talking about that, yes, technology is available, you want to go green, what are we talking on the other side of part of it?
Yeah, the incentive part, I just want to add a very important point. For our products, the US consumers of our products get an $8 from the electricity board from the US government for buying the product, $8 subsidy. And our products are less than $8. So our US consumers are making money by buying the product. Other than
Actually, some ULBs are doing some ULBs are doing it in Haryana, in Karnataka, in Andhra Pradesh. If you buy, if you install solar products for heating, you get a monthly reduction on your power bills.
25%.
Yeah, 20. No, not Haryana. I think it's a very marginal amount.
It's a very
Bangalore
marginal.
is a very
Bangalore, for residential, you need.
yes, and Bangalore, but residential you need solar
water
for
heater.
heating, not for power.
So can we go back to something?
Yeah.
Sure. So what I'm going to start off with, and this sounds very stereotypically NGOs. I'm going to go back to this point where I was going to join WWF, and which is not the Wrestling Federation, but the Worldwide Fund for Nature. I took a trip to this place called Chandratal, which is in Spiti, which is in the Spiti Valley. It's about 12,000 feet above mean sea level. The village that the lake is in is called Batal. It has a population size of 30 people. They switched off for Eartha last year. They're among 150 cities which switched off for Eartha out of the 7,400 cities in India. So what I am trying to say is that we keep decentralizing and we keep saying that no, government should be doing this, or corporate, or the NGOs keep saying corporate should be doing it. You guys say the government should be doing it. I do think that at some point you need to take it to an individual level and drive it through the individual level and say what is it that I can do, whether I can drive technology within my company, whether I can save paper, what is it that I am doing. The argument can also be that, well, it's very easy to cater to 30 people in one village and not to a population size of 3 million. I also went to Kanpur. This was last year. Kanpur, we were again doing Earthar, and there's this ghat in Kanpur called Sarsaria Ghat, which which had 1 lakh people, not really driven by WWF, not really volunteers, but people who had come, who had switched off the lights of their homes to come on the banks of the Ganga and just show support. Again, in terms of energy saving, New Delhi saved 300 megawatts of power. I'm really bad at math. That's why I joined the India Center. Bangalore saved about 90 megawatts, and Mumbai saved 60 megawatts of power last year, switching off to 1 hour. The argument again, and why I keep coming back to the argument is because it's all very circular. Kanpur said that हमारे यहाँ तो बत्ती आती नहीं है, हम क्या ऑफ करके करें? हमारे यहाँ तो 4 घंटे का लोड शेडिंग है.
वो भी आप बोलते हैं ऑफ कर.
So exactly, वो भी आप बोल रहे हैं ऑफ कर दीजिए. So you know, it's very hands off. Everyone keeps saying no, we can't do this because government doesn't aid it, NGOs don't aid it, the corporate. Thank you. But this time what we're trying to do is we're trying to get individuals to commit to adopting household products which are either powered by renewable energy or which have a very strong focus on saving power. We're also asking organizations to adopt renewable energy. We're asking government to adopt policies. That's what we're doing as an organization. At an individual level, I know my CEO takes the metro every day. He stays in Gurgaon. We've also got Vigyan Labs, the app installed across all our computers. So whether they're desktops, laptops, or mobile phones. So we're trying our level best to save power, especially within the framework, but also outside.
Can I interrupt you for a minute? 3 years ago, I was sitting with the CEO of the Vatika Group. And he very proudly told me that between 8 and 9 we're going to switch off all the power in all the Vatika buildings. So I said 8 to 9 is not peak consumption hour. If you switch off power in Vatika buildings for between that 1 hour, fat lot you would have contributed to the global this thing. But if you can do something which will trigger another 1,000 people to switch off their lights, maybe you achieve something. So he said, what can we do? And we did a small experiment. We called it the Vatika Earth Walk. We actually, it was in Gurgaon, and there was a half a kilometer walk. But what we did was we mobilized schools, we mobilized corporate houses, and we mobilized RWAs and said, why don't you come and join the Earth Hour? Take a pledge that you will support the Earth Hour. And we had close to about 3,000 people who walked, led by the commissioner, and actually it was a lot of tamasha. Nothing much, half a kilometer doesn't do anything to you from the fitness point of view, but it was a commitment, and it was the school, most of the big schools in Gurgaon supported it, and the school children led the pledge saying that I support the Earth Hour. So what really happened was that year, suddenly Gurgaon's statistics were bumped up because there was a change. And somewhere I think while as corporates you can invest in that thought process and you can actually make the change within your organization, there is a larger cause there. Unless you take it to the millions, like I said, it is our asset, and if you can take it to the larger population and effect change at usage at that level, that's where it helps. And what he's saying about Vigyan Labs and so on, their technologies are easy enough for individuals to adopt.
And leverage.
Leverage.
Because, sorry.
Yeah, carry on.
Because what we've seen is that, I mean, even forget about WWF and Earth Hour, but even if you just look at what has made the biggest news items in the last 6 months, whether it's been Nivea, it's all been social media and urban youth mobilized. And it's changed pretty much the course of how we look at certain things. Whether I am informed enough about the anti-rape bill today is because I at some point in time was moved by a certain story which was driven by social media, which in turn was led by urban youth. So that's the kind of move that you will also witness within the corporate sector at some point, whether it happens now, whether it happens 6 months down the line, whether it happens 6 years down the line, where you will see people more interested in mobile applications that are using that are promoting renewable energy, or whether it's hospitality chains that are moving really to a more green attitude. I think, and that's where your real strength is going to be sort of tested.
I just want to ask, is like internationally, I know in hospitality, I know that CO2 or the carbon credits and the energy is a part of their P&L, which is shown as a P&L as a separate P&L of the corporate. I don't know whether in India we show as a separate P&L. You know, so
Can you compute?
Can you?
Are you able to compute? Maybe since all of you are adopting green measures,
Yeah.
how do you compute that? Can it become a separate balance sheet? It's a very right.
it's a very valid because
I think it's measurable,
measurable.
it's definitely measurable. Having worked on carbon credits, we have a carbon credit in number of our plants, including the forestation. What plants we plant, we have a carbon sink credit also on that. It's a different thing we are not able to cash today because of the low carbon values, but it's easily computable. There has to be people like Ernst Young or somebody to do the fundamental working and also get credits certified. You may not go to the market, but you can put it as a part of your green strategy in your
CSR.
CSR as well as green strategy in your balance sheets, which is widely accepted today. You may not gain money today under the present because for generating that you may spend more money than what you get in terms of carbon credit. What is the price of carbon credit today?
because
Yeah,
sorry, this is what I feel that once you have something on a P&L, there is a governance given by the corporate, CEO, chairman is sitting on it saying that what is part of the P&L. Are you making a up arrow, down arrow? What are we doing? So then it's a
the
more.
reality is that our carbon credit business is struggling.
very much so.
Is because, again, I'll go back, I'll reply to one point which you mentioned also, but coming to that point is, at the end, the CEO looks at the bottom line. The day that values fell, it went out of favor.
We will stop giving consultancies.
I think they will come.
So
when,
consultancy was ultimately again, not only for us, for their bottom line.
I think the day will come when government will not issue you SEZ license unless you achieve certain carbon ratings.
No,
I think work is
let
going
me-
on in that
Let me
direction.
get back to that, and this is something I'd like to point out. We all, an NGO sector is specific, let me take you on straight, seem to have more of an esoteric place in the world than realistic place in the world. Right?
Fair point.
Let me ask you, where was this Earth Hour started?
That was started in Sweden. We came
Right.
to India in about
Right,
2007.
and where if you look at America wastes 8 times more energy than an average
Sure,
Indian.
sure.
American child consumes 14 times more things than an average Indian or a Chinese. Forget about Africa, right? If you take satellite pictures from up, the amount of light you see in US and urban centers in Europe is probably anywhere
No,
more.
fair.
You go to New York Times Square, go to Las Vegas, probably that will light up half of Delhi. Now, one of the things I like to put forward to NGOs, with the right intent, you probably take the wrong messages. You rightly said, you go to cities for switching off light, there might be guys who probably, first of all, cannot afford those CFOs you talk about.
True.
Okay? And the second is, they hardly get light, they have 5
That's
people
exactly
in
what I'm
crowd.
saying. When we took the message to Kanpur, that's exactly what they said. They said, हमारे यहाँ तो 4 घंटे तो
No,
वैसे
but
ही
I'll
नहीं है
give
कि
a
रोज-
flip of it. It became a fad in the younger population. So I've got 2 daughters, and they have bloody every gadget in the world. They make life miserable, they change every other day, and they tell me, oh, you should switch off the light. And next day I said, hey, average in our homes, there'll be some 5 gadgets getting recharged at night.
Absolutely.
There'll be some 15 gadgets you don't look at. There'll be a broadband which is forever on, not used. So what are we trying to do? The target audience is wrong, or the message is wrong.
Right.
So the message I like to the NGOs is, half of the time we take messages from elsewhere,
Sure.
try to retrofit into Indian context, where the context is different. We need messages which are India based,
Yeah.
which are relevant to India, and also I would clearly say, tell the NGO sector is focus on what matters here. If a bottom line matters to JK, talk what is relevant to it.
Exactly.
If innovation matters, talk the innovation language. If it is a brand issue, talk the brand
No,
issue.
sure. That is an absolutely valid point. That's the only way we can also engage with corporates.
But I don't see many of them thinking like that.
No, I work with a vertical called Sustainable Business, where we talk to companies who are interested in working with us on sustainability related issues, whether it is driving sustainability within their agenda, whether it is environmental impact assessments, whether it is the G3 GRI guidelines, stuff like that. That's what I do. That is the core of my work. Earth Hour is what all of us volunteer to do within the WWF fraternity.
In fact, with the Earth Hour itself, when we aggregated those 3,000 people, the end of the day, we put off the lights. The next year, they asked us, so what is the message that you're going to give us this year? We put off the lights, we'll put off the lights again.
Right.
But we actually, somewhat like this Anna Hazare movement, you mobilize the people, but you've given them nothing to do.
Yeah.
And people would like to do, but I don't think the agenda has actually articulated what it is that, is it a graded plan?
So that,
Sorry.
No, no, no.
Interrupt you. Give me another perspective
Yeah,
to this. As a culture, we are very frugal.
yeah.
So if somebody says we don't recycle, actually that's not true.
Yes, true.
We may not be that arranged.
We are the
When you
greatest
go to the rank
examples of
pickers,
what-
we actually, see, I'll give you, we do consulting for power sectors. Abroad, generating power out of waste is very much there. When I talk to some people, the CEOs of power sector, they said in India, the calorific value of our waste is so low because everything is picked out, which is actually it may not be planned properly, but actually it is that. It's just a question of the way it is collected. You go to Switzerland, you actually have to even in other places also. In UK, other places you have to segregate.
Everything.
But in Switzerland, you have to segregate not only plastic bottles, food and all that, color of bottles also you have to segregate. Go to station. So in India, it's not that we don't do it. As a culture, we are much more frugal. It's just it's completely
scattered
unplanned,
and not very well
scattered,
branded.
In fact, recycling, there's an example. If you take the tire industry in Europe, we get whole tires after about 10,000 hours of use, free of cost. In fact, they give money to burn it in our kilns, in cement kilns. Here, I did a study about 2 years back, definitely with some consultants and other involved. I couldn't get tire. The process was that this tire goes 6 times returning and 7 times it becomes chapel. And what do? And regulations have started telling me, please use tire. So that's an unfortunate thing. But at the same time, coming to your rescue, purely from age perspective and
Thank you so much.
mythology perspective, purely from mythology considerations, India is an emotional country, fundamentally. We are frugal, definitely. Who spends more than required except in the younger generation, including this generation, right? They, as he rightly said, one phone is not enough. I do more than nearly $1 billion business with one phone. My children, they have 2, 3 phones with iPads and all those things. Coming to your rescue in the particular, India is fundamentally an emotional based country. Our social and cultural cause has always cherished utsavs or celebrations in terms of anything you take in mythology has been people oriented. Like you have rightly said, somewhere is a reason to connect. I believe it is a reason to connect. So beginning of reason to connect, to bring people together in terms of such, and we are emotionally charged immediately. The moment you say, switch off the light, I will do it without thinking, without asking what is going to happen after that. So we do it. Probably we connect that very well, and I think we should do that. But second question of his is valid, or anybody's is valid. What after this? An example of why to go into those second and third rung stees for the work is obviously driven by the business resource and benefits, although they are now slightly well connected and improving. Take for instance, you are from Gurgaon. Take for instance, how much energy is wasted? You readily pay 16 rupees a unit for 60% of the power you get in the buildings, including the corporates who are there. Who bothers about that? And I get the source power is only 4 rupees 60 paisa. When I can pay 16 rupees, why these buildings together, after a proper some sort of specifications are made and building people are made to stick to that, even if they charge 16 rupees for initial 3 years, why don't they provide certain renewable power opportunities? Why don't we go to the smart grids, as he's saying? Smart grids are, I have seen the perspective of how much it is affecting in terms of the IT and electronic industries. So I'm slightly now subdued. I'm starting thinking I'm not the culprit. Otherwise I was thinking the manufacturing is the biggest culprit. But see the housing itself.
Yes.
Now, why smart grids cannot work? I want to bring a cheaper power to Gurgaon. I have no way to bring. I can generate power, transmit the power up to 4 rupees a kilowatt and give it to the Gurgaon. Nobody allows me.
No,
Because
actually-
I can't go into the internal grids which are, again, infrastructure is not ready.
Actually, Gurgaon is a solar city, and in Gurgaon it should be much easier because the Ministry of Environment has actually declared it a solar city. Rajasthan and Gurgaon are the two, Rajasthan and Haryana are the two states where the intensity of the sun is good enough to generate good quality power. The problem here is that there are many things that are unplanned. There are many hurdles in that entire thing of pushing it back into the grid. While two plants have already done it, they have started pushing solar power into the grid, and it will be a reality very soon. But having said that, it is possible at the individual level because the intensity of the solar heat is so much that Gurgaon can actually do it. But like you said, it needs planning, it needs perspective, and it needs the will to
It is
push.
happening. You look at this company called Acme Power, for example.
Yes, yes.
Acme Power actually has won a lot of city-wise projects, and they are loading into the grid on that. But just again, you talked about a global perspective. When you talk about smart grid, frankly speaking, again, it was adopted in many other countries, not with any of these in mind. Why did Sweden adopt this smart grid? Because in the winter it was impossible to read the meters, right? Why did Italy adopt? Because like India, Italy, power theft was
Yes.
big thing. To curtail the power theft, they did that. So maybe India
that's also,
See, again, I wanted to point out one thing, like Mr. Bhushan rightly said, the market for awareness, the target group has to be selected. What are we doing about the SMEs and SMBs? Awareness, you see the JKs of the world, the IBM of the world, they have an organization, they have a setup, they are brand conscious, they have departments which take care of these things. What about the SME?
You've just taken my next question away from me.
India has the largest SME and SME base in the world.
Absolutely. Today we have the biggest brand sitting here, but when you go to the second and third rung of brands itself, the corporates, can they actually afford one?
The
And
Udyog Vihar, the Okhla phase 2 and all
absolutely.
that.
Can
you
they,
see the
are
Lava
the technologies
companies.
such that they can afford it? And do they have the awareness enough to adopt it?
So
This-
I'll give you a perspective on IT adoption. I have a customer who is like a 4-member kind of a customer, and then went to meet him. He's got similar people in the same kind of business, and they formed what is a cooperative. And then all those guys got together. They said, okay, I'm going to now create IT for the betterment of my business. So they couldn't afford their own IT. So they said, okay, I'll pool and I'll create IT. So they said pooled IT. Then they said, okay, what is the method for me to kind of still make it happen and at the same time being a position to access? And eventually they are an IBM cloud customer, and I'm so happy. And they are a knitwear business, right? They are a knitwear business, and completely far east is where they are, right? That was one. Then there are close to about 150 plus SMEs who are born and living on the cloud. Right. They survive on cloud. I get complaints, major complaints, if due to some reason the connectivity which they have is down. And I can't do anything but sympathize with them that I don't provide connectivity. I just provide. But then they
You're the
complain.
the first person they can complain
Right,
to.
and at least you have someone who is hearing to what they are saying in us, right? So that's how it is. The fact is, it is a huge movement which is happening. I guess we got to kind of encourage it little more, as you said. It is happening for the good. It's taking its own sweet time, however. But I see the concept of greening up from IT to the actual real manufacturing, everything happening, but then it's taking time.
Very interesting. Germany, actually German economy has mostly supported by SMEs, though you hear the brand names. When we talk to them, they complain that their regulations are killing them. Okay? So it's the other way. In our case, the lack of regulation is
Definition of SME is also different. Their definition of SME is also different.
They are very small. The number of SMEs below 50 people or 30 people employees also is huge.
If you go to our SMEs, they are so troubled. They will never listen to the government. They will listen to you probably. I'll tell you why. When you go there, even in a place, a posh place like Okhla or Udyog Vihar, the infrastructure, the roads are pathetic. They buy half of the power or more than half of the power. They buy water themselves. They are not dependent upon the government largely, so they are not going to listen to the government. Awareness to them will be brought by other channels. You see, so yeah, because they are troubled by the government, they are not getting proper facilities from the government. They say you have to help with the government. They don't listen to what are they providing? I am paying for my water, I am paying for my electricity. I buy separately. They don't provide me.
So again, the same logic. Unless you show them an economic angle, a benefit, a cost benefit, and that it helps your bottom lines, your top lines, whatever it helps you. But can it actually result in direct savings to your organization? Not because somebody is regulating you, but because it makes good business sense.
Absolutely, bang on. It has to make economic sense,
Right.
otherwise it will not happen.
Right.
And one of the core reasons why this knitwear company got onto cloud was because they saw a newspaper ad from IBM saying you get compute at 3 rupees per hour. Simple. He got really kicked about, and then he started reading somehow about cloud, and he said, "Oh boy, this is like the nearest of technology which can happen in the world." And he is proud. I mean, he is absolutely proud to boast, saying, "I have a whole community which is computing on cloud, right? And they are like completely untouched by any sort of technology otherwise." And they have shared applications in going ahead and doing it, and that's the beauty which I really come. But he wouldn't have done if I were to probably take a server and say, "Hey, take this, and this is what you need to go ahead, and by the way, you need to pay me $100,000." I'm sure he wouldn't have done. It has to make economic sense as well. So the adoption in India probably will never happen because of regulation. We'll always find a loophole to kind of cut through a regulation.
Then David, yeah.
So there's another point, I think, as I listen to all the people giving wonderful views, emotional society attached to things for years. You discard things. I also lived a lot of years in the West. You throw things, you recycle things. The latest monitors and the devices, right, which probably take far less power. I bet you in a lot of our colleges, where there are hundreds and thousands of computers, you have these monitors and PCs that guzzle power. That ain't getting discarded anytime soon. 400 watts, 300 watts per hour. So there has to be awareness, very bottom line driven awareness that yes, you probably use it for 10 years, way beyond its expected life, still run whatever antiquated things, but that's bottom line. So you need to show them the awareness that yes, you can run it, but you can also save 8 rupees per hour.
Yeah, I mean, just want to add on
Business
already.
sense is very important, like Mr. Gurunathan said.
And that's a reality we are seeing today.
See, one of the colleagues I want to add is I met one of the head of the institution, very large institution in Pune. He said, every time you go, he's a big room, a computer center is there are some 30-40 computers. Before you go out this switch, I turn off 3 tube lights. They said, you have 50 computers, nobody turns it off. You have tube light consume more power, isn't it? So I was shocked, you have 50 computers, then I told him, one computer is equal to 2 to 3 tube lights, So you are turning off 4 or 5 tube lights, but 100 of them you are not turning off. So the awareness of what consumes power itself is not known to people today.
If you do a poll today, you will not find a different answer from any chief executive of any company, excepting IT and who are doing work on the computers. You go across the manufacturing industry and ask
I don't
them.
think IT, see the IT will not even bother because the electricity bill is based on facilities. IT doesn't care,
So-
because electricity bill will
So,
reduce.
unless awareness is there is a realistic awareness is not there that it's being so much of energy is being consumed, particularly on this subject.
Which
Second is the villages also have started, or you go to any village school, I have plants in at least 10 different states, remote places, and there are small, we encourage that. We have given the computers, we have done, lot many people have put 20 computers, 30 computers. Now I have, now it is now coming to my mind, I have put there, but then who's going to pay their energy bill over a period of time? They will, and they are using it. It's not that they are not using. Earlier they used to be only a demonstrative thing. Since with all Educam and all other things, they always use it. So awareness of this particularly on the basis of these cell phones and computer utilization, which you have generated, say so many trees equivalent and other things, is still dormant according.
Actually, if you look at our Friends of Earth Hour context period, majority participation has been from villages and small towns.
Which is what I was just coming to.
1,000 people,
that's
just
where
can
the
you go
awareness
to
comes in.
go to
That's where you
itplus.com and
need-
see the names of villages.
Just the
1,000
topic.
villages, 500 villages India have participated. They have said, oh, they can see live right now.
It pinches them, that's why.
No, it pinches them, which is why they see the benefit of switching off for that 1 hour.
I'll give you a business case. How a customer just switched on a very well-known reputed educational institution. How they switched on from books to tablets. He said, "This is my fees. For example, 10,000 rupees. I'm already spending 3,500 rupees on books and material. Your cost of your tablet is around 6,000. I'll subsidize this much. So it's actually going to cost me only 1,000 rupees extra. I'm going to go ahead with the tablet."
And that is not the fees.
So this is
We load it back into the fees
on the student.
on the student, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And plus I'll get the image and the brand of a very modern organization switching over to tablets. Plus I will tell them that you're saving so many trees.
So at the same
No,
time
but
now,
a lot of
at the
it
same time
feels
now
like
you have to tell them
confidence,
this
but it
tablet
really
what it
isn't
consumes in terms of
final
electronic
analysis,
waste.
honestly.
Yes, which is a fact.
Go one level more.
Very quickly then, if we have to, we started by saying what have you done as organizations and what technologies you have adopted to remain green, become green and sustain green. If I were to ask you, what are the 2 initiatives that you will start, maybe in the next 1 year, 5 years, whatever, what is that trajectory that you are on? All of you are aware, all of you are doing something. What more will you do in the next 1 year so that you can take it to the next level? Mr. Wali?
I think we have already got a set agenda, particularly for not only for next 2 years, for next 5 years. In most of the manufacturing units, what is required to be now taken forward is waste utilization. As he rightly said, the US produces per man at least not less than 16 times the waste. But we have waste, we have probably make efforts to consolidate that waste and bring it to a particular type of utilization point where it can be, it's not economical today, let me accept that. It's not showing lot of bottom line results. But I'm thinking, as far as the company is concerned, we are thinking that this is the way we have to go if we have to conserve the resources. We are, a lot of fuel we are using. We are using today pet coke, which is actually a waste, which is supposed to be waste in Europe. And recently, after about having used here for 7 to 8 years, US has also adopted pet coke utilization. They were giving $5. I have bought shipments from there with $5 incentive to pick up the pet coke from there. Now they are using in their own petrol, in their own power plant. This is a reverse what has gone to US from here or UK. One is to use waste as abundantly because we will be generating more waste. Let us accept that. Our children are generating more waste. The consumption is going up, all the things are going up. That is one, and there are possible steps which can be taken over a period of next 2 to 3 years to reach that. Second is, another crucial thing is recycling of water, or whether you call it saving water by virtue of making water forests and water ponds, or by completely removing or recirculating the water which is going in our processes. That is another area which will make it greener. As far as the energy efficiencies are concerned, particularly power, which is another important aspect, there has been reduction over a period of last 6 to 8 years, about 30% energy reduction, being one of the leaders in energy consumption, particularly in cement, much better than 25-30% more than, much better than Europe and US. There is less chance, but what is important there is if we can generate power from waste, take it further, Today we have gone to conventional means of generating 30%. Can we take it to 40%? There is a possibility. I think the more you do it, that's two agendas which we'll take, and also bringing in market in terms of tire, an alternative product which may not have those items which are practically environmentally non-friendly and use more of silica and reduce resistance with the road, so you reduce fuel consumption in terms of using the fuel. Paper we have already launched color lock. I think we'll strengthen that color lock further, where you can use paper without getting effective on both the sides, and the inks can be removed with less water, and you can recirculate it. Personally, I feel it is a sort of an agenda that we need to, we may say so, but there are still, in manufacturing, there are still organizations which have everything in terms of SAP and all controls, but still paper report is still, if every one of us decides that paper report can be done away with, will probably make what I was saying as sort of a emotional connect with the people. Obviously, I'll be happy to use his Vigal Labs thing in all my phones. Thank you.
We've also launched a water stewardship report that you might want to look at. I can send that across to you.
Sure.
Because you came to my rescue earlier.
I hope it is free of cost.
Totally, only for the rescue.
Economic benefits.
So from a recent standpoint, I think for last 2 years our consolidation journey is almost complete. So we are now we will be embarking towards cloud. So currently, our 10% of infrastructure and applications are running on cloud. But in FY 13, 14, and 15, we will be, at least 50 to 60% of our landscape will be, migrating towards clouds. That is one. And from the user standpoint, in FY 13, 14, we are planning to completely do away with desktop and PCs and move to a thin client kind of environment where you have just at least reduce the footprint, reduce the space and all that stuff, and move to energy efficient thin client model. And from the infrastructure and the building standpoint, like for example in Gurgaon we are spread in various buildings, and we plan to consolidate and migrate to a complete virtualized hot desking kind of environment where like 70% of the, like for example, if you see the effective space utilization in organization is 65 to 70%. It means 35 to 40% you are wasting the space. You have allocated the space to developers and you are actually not utilizing it. So we plan to consolidate all the buildings to few buildings, 1 or 2 buildings, and in a virtualized environment, where you can create space for 200 people and which can be used by 250 to 300 odd people. So these are some of the major initiatives we plan to take in next financial
year. Already committed. We committed to $7 billion of cloud. Not just for ourselves, because what we've done internally is all our research is on cloud. All our labs, development labs are all on virtualized desktop, so that's again cloud. So we want to take this whole agenda with our clients and make an impact. So I don't think a larger or a bolder commitment could have come than our ex-chairman commitment that we will by 2050 to $7 billion of cloud revenue, because every cloud initiative goes back to save energy, right? And every time we engage with clients on data center, we are engaging with them to kind of really talk to them about, do you really need a data center, right? Because every data center is a huge cluster of power, and more smaller number of data centers you have, you are going to kind of cause at least consume as much more energy. So the idea is how can you consolidate all of them into large data centers, therefore the cloud providers, and that's where you drive economy of scale, right? And therefore you drive very high levels of power utilization. So that's one. The other one is we are embarking big time on Smarter Planet. We did our biggest event on Smarter Planet, the sixth in the world in India in Gurgaon last year. Agenda is to kind of go to various building manufacturers, various residential co-ops to kind of really enable them on.
We did find that green was coming on the agenda of large organizations, many small organizations and the individuals, and over the last 2-3 years we've been working in a very sustained manner to push whatever, if the best practices are disseminated to more and more people at very frequent intervals, that can be a change agent. And now Magic Bricks, for instance, is spending a whole month just promoting the green agenda. The green, what in the built environment, what is happening, what is not happening, what you would like happening, everything is there. So if anyone wants to contribute, you're all free to contribute, because the whole month of June will be just green. So it is taking this agenda to the next level, because we felt that we talk in boardrooms, how can we start pushing it into the general psyche. Thank you all for joining us.
I think it has been a wonderful session, just to hear Devil's point of view. So I come from Technique, which is IT centric, so I was more thinking of virtualization, having data centers merged. So I took home those points to start with, and of course the travel part of it, how to less. But it was interesting to see how organizations have been, JPA and other organizations in terms of just taking home that agenda and seeing that bottom line. So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for coming.
And do join us for a small tea which we've organized outside. Thank you so much.
You should start with probably enrolling all of us in your movement.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do join us for a small tea and snacks. Great. I really